Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this product animation in Blender. 4.0, I'm using an RTX 3060 and a Ryzen 5 5600 and cycle render. Let's begin. In Blender, you'll notice I already have an energy drink modeled. I used a method from a previous video if you want to model one yourself. Link in description. Let's start by creating our floor, press Shift plus A to add in a plane, then press Tab to go into edit mode and right-click, subdivide, and change the subdivisions to around 10. Now for the material, I'm going to use a sand texture that I found on BlenderKit. Again, all links will be in the description. With this material, we can adjust the normal and bump nodes to fake depth in the mesh without being harsh on our computers. Additional tip. I recommend that you put a dip in the bottom of your floor to make room for the energy drink to hit the liquid harder when it falls. You can do this by enabling proportional editing in edit mode. Before getting into our liquid simulation, let's light our scene. I'm using this HDRI again from BlenderKit. You can also get them from polyhaven.com. You can add in these HDRIs in the world settings in the shader editor by adding an environment texture node, opening your file, and connecting it to your world. Also, make sure to use Cycles Render. If you feel your scene is too dark or too bright, you can change the strength in the world properties to your liking. Now, we are ready to do our liquid simulation. Add in a cube and make it the same shape and size as our plane, and move it down under. Now, go to Object, Quick Effect, Quick Liquid. This should create a liquid domain for our simulation. Scale the domain so that the edges almost meet the edges of our cube. This will make our liquid start still and calm. Now let's set up our domain settings. Click on your domain and go to the Physics tab. Set the resolution division to 156. This is an important step, so pay attention in your cache settings. Set your end frame to 70 and change the type to modular. And then tick is resumable. Now let's set up our other objects. Click on your energy drink model and go to Physics Settings and press on Fluid. Make sure the type is set to Effector, change the sampling to 4 and the surface thickness to 0.5. This will make our energy drink collide with the liquid. Now all we need is to make the energy drink fall. To do this, add in a rigid body in the Physics tab and set the type to Active and Mass to 8 klu. You make this higher or lower depending on how big or small you want the splash to be. Finally, change the shape to Mesh. Lastly, click on our sand floor we made first and give it its own rigid body, but set it to Passive and also set the shape to Mesh. This tells Blender that the floor and our energy drink should collide with one another. Now, if we hit play, you should see that our energy drink falls onto the floor plane. Now let's bake our fluid simulation. Go to your domain settings and press Bake Data and wait for the bake to bake. Now when we go through our timeline, our energy drink is creating a splash in the water. Awesome! Now in the domain settings, click Mesh and make the UPRES factor 3 and smoothing positive and negative to 2 and click Bake and wait for the bake to bake. Wow! Look at our fluid simulation. In the Materials tab, you can also change the default color to whatever you see fit. Let's add in a camera and rotate and place it above our scene and add in some basic keyframe as the animation goes on. Use I on your keyboard to add these in. Now in the camera settings, check depth of field and make our energy drink the focus object and set the f-stop to around 0.5. Finally, set your render settings and hit render. Good job! You should have an animation similar to this one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe.